Silicon Valley, technology, art, green, and sustainability.
Hi, welcome to Silicon Valley Tech, Art, Green, and Sustainability. And today I'm talking with a couple guests, one an expert in green building and construction and remodeling, and another an expert in documentary making and filmmaking in her second life in business, Iris Harrel and Pam Walton. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
So Iris, you've been with us before, and could you just reintroduce yourself to the audience for people that maybe didn't see that show?
Yes, I'm a general contractor. I've been a general contractor in California for 25 years. I'm also a kitchen and bath designer and a Green Point advisor, certified green building professional. And we do residential remodeling, design and build in Silicon Valley.
And Pam.
Mm-hmm. I have been making documentary films for about 20 years.
Oh, wow, okay.
And most of my films have been about gay and lesbian issues. But I've taken a departure lately and gotten into green remodeling and raging Grannies. So, and I work out of my home with my partner Ruth in Mountain View.
And you were a professor or a teacher also?
The first 20 years of my adult life, I was a high school English teacher at Woodside High School.
So you started at like 10 then? I didn't realize you've been doing documentaries for 20 years also.
Well,
so.
I started when I was 20, and then I quit when I was 40, and now I'm 60.
Okay, well you look great. I would have said, 29. So, Iris, a documentary was made, and you made the documentary, and that was, a long process, I guess, or?
Well, the remodel took just over a year. Partly because Ann and I did not move out for the entire period of the time, only half of it. And I had talked to Pam. I've known Pam for decades, and I know that she's a great filmmaker, documentary filmmaker. And I just thought this would be a really interesting project to film, to demonstrate all of the green aspects of our home. And then our other part of green that's really emphasized is the universal design, where anyone of any age, of any ability, can walk into the house, use all parts of the house, whether they're tall, short, in a wheelchair, or whatever. And so it was fun to invite her to do this. And she said yes.
Mm-hmm. And a little bit again about the Raging Grannies. Tell us a little bit about that. I've heard a little bit, maybe the audience hasn't.
Well, the Raging Grannies are a wonderful group of older women that I met in 2004 when they were protesting the results of the 2004 election. And they're a perfect match for a filmmaker because they're, just naturally performers. I like to say exhibitionists. And they dress up and they act out in the streets for social justice. So our film premiered at CineQuest year before last.
Mm-hmm. Oh, great, okay. I missed that CineQuest.
Oh, it was great. It's a terrific film, but you can get it.
Thank you.
And people probably can get that off your website.
You can get it off my website, and it's going to be podcast on KQED in May.
Awesome. So the first clip that I wanted to roll, let's go ahead and roll that, is great of you and at your home. I think it's probably at the very beginning of when you started the process of greening up the home.
Okay.
This bathroom is changing. It's very exciting. We're getting so excited about our own remodel after all these years of doing at least 100 jobs a year for other people.
So you finally did your own home.
Yes, you've heard the phrase that shoemakers' children have no shoes. Most remodelers don't have a very pristine home because they're too busy doing it for other people. And I have been actually a contractor for almost 30 years because I was doing it in Dallas too. And we did fix up our home in Dallas, but we lived here in a home that we just didn't get around to. We had a master plan, but we finally did the whole thing.
And how long of a process again about?
It was just over a year.
Okay.
Just over a year.
The thought plan of what you wanted in the house, was it,
well,
had you been thinking about it for years, or?
Oh yeah, we had a master plan before we moved in because the house actually was not even converted to a home. When we bought the house, it had no kitchen. It was a 10-bedroom, 1.5 bath, 4,000 square foot home with no kitchen. And we said, lovely, we'll take it as it is.
And when you bought it, wasn't that like the shell for all the other design homes in the area?
Well, it
too?
was similar to the design of the other homes. Of course, ours is quite different from the other ones now.
And so planning, preparation, architecture, really important. And
Yes.
of course, that's your business.
Yes.
I love that old saying, measure twice, cut once.
Yes.
So how important was that in this process with green building?
Well, I think that design, I mean, even if you want your project to be green, you have to know in advance what you're going to do that is green so you can plan for it. It's an integral part, you know, to use the right kind of insulation, to seal the ducts. If you don't do that when the ducts are open and available, you can't do it. So we were one of the first existing homes that got tested and graded for a green rating, because a lot of the LEED certification is really on new homes or it's on commercial.
So we have a clip on planning, so we're going to roll that now too. And it's a little, I forget how long this one is, but it's great.
Okay.
And it's from the documentary too, so we'll roll that.
There'll be a new wall put in halfway between a retaining wall and a foundation stem wall. We have oak trees that are really fragile out front, and to get the dirt out of here any other way other than hand, we would have had to bring equipment through that would have damaged the trees. Iris and Ann were really concerned about the health of these trees, and the belts are actually, they set up 4 belts, I believe, and the way that they're actually set up and configured in length and distance, they're not damaging any plants at all. We didn't have to cut anything, so environmentally, like in the local area, it's pretty efficient.
So that's pretty amazing, all that work for saving the trees and all that. I would have never thought about that. A term that you've coined is forever home.
Yes.
Am I saying that right?
That's right.
And that's kind of long-term living and planning out. So tell us a little bit about that and how that relates to what you did.
Well, I think one of the concepts of good design is timeless design. It's not going to look dated, and it's not going to become dysfunctional. You know, like the obsolescence of computers that go so fast. A home is a huge investment. So if you have a timeless design that's well thought out and that is low maintenance because it's green and is not going to break down because it's well built, then you have something that will run, you know, like a good Toyota truck. It just keeps running, 200,000 miles, 300,000 miles. It just keeps running. Well, I had one that we beat to death, you know, so I'm just saying it's such a big investment. And so my concept is you can live there forever. I mean, even if your in-laws come to live with you, if you have somebody who has a disability, you don't have to leave the home because you can no longer get in and out of the house, you can't use the shower, or you can't afford to keep the maintenance up.
So we have another little clip we're going to run right now too on that, and it's another clip from the documentary that was nice, so we'll roll that.
What will make this home more comfortable for a long time and comfortable for them and for their friends and family. So we started talking about changing the access from the street so that there would be a ramp, but not the kind we all drive by in someone's neighborhood that looks like somebody stuck a big old piece of plywood on the front of your house, but a ramp that's integrated into the landscape.
How accessible is the kitchen? You know, now that we've designed it, go through it in your mind in a wheelchair instead of, or crutches or whatever.
So planning and materials, how does that tie into the long term? And, you know, a lot of people just put new windows in the home and without looking at where the air is escaping in the home and how much energy they're using. How does that tie into the planning of a green home?
Well, windows are, you know, a very important source of ventilation, of view, of natural daylight. So you have to think of all those things. And then you have to think about how do I get my privacy at night? And you have to think about their energy efficiency. So that has to be thought out early on because it's also part of the approval for the permit. It's part of the long it takes a long time to get the windows, so you have to order them well in advance before you
Right,
start.
and the daylighting is really important. They're finding out more and more in the research that daylighting in school improves, you know, good daylighting improves scores. Daylighting in the workplace improves, you know, so obviously more daylight in your home is going to improve your mood.
And if you study where you spend the most of your time in your home during the day, it's where there's natural daylight. People do not go into rooms that are dark during the day.
Oh yeah, that's
They-
why my computer is now in front of the window.
That it's just every home